Okay, so this is a very short video about the website chesstempo.com. So it can be used for a range of things. I tend to use it mostly for chess opening training, but it's also really good for chess tactics training too. I'll talk a little bit about that, and I haven't really got into the endgame training stuff there. Um, in terms of how much it costs, there is actually a free version, which can be used mostly for creating small opening repertoires and for doing basic tactic stuff. For the stuff that I'm going to talk about using, I use space repetition learning, and that's only available in the gold package and the diamond package. For some reason, I've actually got the diamond package, and I'm not really sure why, to be honest with you, because I think most of what I can do with the gold package. So when the subscription runs out, I'll probably move back to the gold package, which is actually pretty reasonably priced. Um, okay, so I'm going to start off by talking about the opening training. So if you click on the opening training, this is a way of you can create a bunch of repertoires for white and for black. Now, these are all the various repertoires that I've created, and I'll go through how to create one in a second. Um, but before I do that, let me just explain to you how it works. You essentially create a repertoire and then you can drill them or practice them. And these here are all the ones that I haven't practiced for ages, unfortunately. And these are the numbers of positions in each of the openings that I need to learn. These ones here, you can see I've practiced quite recently. Because this one here, I got everything right when I practiced it, it's now saying I don't need to look at it again for another 12 days. On here, it's saying I got one of the moves wrong, so it's going to prompt me again in 2 days' time to look at that again. If I got it right in 2 days' time, the way I've set it up, it would then not prompt me for a further 4 days. If I got it right again in 4 days, it wouldn't prompt me for 8 days, and so on. But if I got it wrong, it would re-prompt me to relook at that move again in 2 days' time. So I'll just give you an example of one to begin with, and this will be quite embarrassing because it will show how little I can actually remember of my openings. So if I click here now on that repertoire and I click train, I then start playing my moves from my memory, and then if at some point I actually forget the moves that I'm going to play, it will then prompt me. Let's have a look. Can I recall? Can I recall? Right, there you are. So I made a mistake, and it said I actually should have castled then. So it was wrong. I expect it was castling. Now what you'll then see is it's now saying, oh, actually in this case, because I've still got some other positions to play, it's saying I'll come back to that last one in 3 minutes. But let's just go again. Okay. Okay, this time we'll try and remember. Right, now it's saying it's going to prompt me because I got one move wrong. It's going to prompt me in 1.8 days to replay that again. I can finish that. If I want to just go and review, not drilling, just reviewing, I can click on the opening tree and I can just play through the various openings. Now this particular one, I've got no variations, but I can just play through. And I'll now go through to how you create a new repertoire. You can either load up a PGN or you can create it from white or black. So I'll just create it from white. I'll call it test. I'll click on create. And then now you've got options. So I can click on the Opening Explorer. So I've got access to Opening Explorer, which you can configure. I think I've got mine of all games rated 2200 plus that's in here. You also, on the right hand side, have an engine. I think you've got Stockfish or Komodo, which you can have sort of running, choose the amount of lines you want to have a look at. So let's say I start creating an opening. I'll just make it up, play something silly. And you can use, as again, all of these types of things, and you can be using the engine to sort of try and tell you what moves you should be doing. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm just going to play an ill thing here for a second. So basically, you create your opening. I call it test down here. Once I have completed that, I can just stop the engine for a second. And then you can see in the opening tree, I've got all of these moves in there. Oops, sorry. You've got the opening moves now because you see these first two moves. It actually said it gave a computer evaluation for the quality of the move. In the opening explorer, the statistics for white, drawn, and black. But as you get further on in some of these very unusual, odd positions that I've intentionally created, it doesn't have any of them at all. So what you can do is you can, inside this opening, do I click at the beginning or the end? I can't remember. But you click on this arrow and I can, oh no, sorry, right mouse button. That's it, right mouse button. Let me come out of here. Right mouse button on E4. I can analyze the line, and that will then send the moves off to the cloud engine. It said 7 of those moves already had evaluations, but 2 moves were missing them, so it sent it off to the cloud to look at those, and then I can then come into here. First thing I'm going to do is sync the Explorer, which is the percentage of white drawn versus black wins on each move. I can say I want the Explorer to give me the wins in a certain rating range, and then click OK. Okay, so I'm going to do that one first. So it's either 28 stats, and I can do the same thing with the evaluations, and I can say I want a depth, say, of, I don't know, 22 for the engine. Well, it's actually in the middle of 25, the maximum 54. And it says reload the page. So just refresh for a second. Then now, if I go into here and I go to some of these other moves, you can see that the evaluations and the Explorer scores for each one are presented. And where you've got a move that's less good from your perspective, it has a different shade of red. If it's better, it would show green. So let me, for now, I'm just going to delete that repertoire because I don't want that in my move. But I can show you here. So here's one where I've shown it. I've chosen a repertoire and it's got lots of green because it's saying these were good moves. So yes, that's basically how it works. You set it up to drill. You go through, and it will reprompt you when you've actually got to look at something again. And because it's using spaced repetition, it won't do it as often for moves that you get right. In terms of the settings up here, you can choose your board and your pieces and all that type of stuff. There's probably some other settings you can do up here. I'm not quite sure what these ones are, to be honest with you. I'm not sure I've ever really used them. But then down here, this is the key one. You can, in the settings, you can pause the video if you need to here. There's the basic opening training settings, spaced repetition, and advanced. So I've chosen spaced repetition, which I think is only available in the gold package. I don't know what that was, preview moves and new lines. Show out move comments when not training, and then maximum learning depth 0. I think that means that well, there's a little question mark here. Maximum depth of lines that we trained to. Oh, I see. So essentially, actually, I honestly don't know. But anyway, 0 is what I've used. Spaced repetition. Now this is set up to. So I've said the maximum number of days in the future to choose is 12 days. I.e., even if I get it right every single time I do it, still reprompt me in 12 days time. There's a little question mark telling you what all of these things are. Gap growth factor is 2. That's when, like I was saying to you, if I got it right after 2 days, it'd prompt me again in 4 days. You can change the gap there. The preview reschedule time, that's how quickly after doing it, if I've got it wrong, it will put it up for me to have a look at it again. And if I get it correct, what's the minimum time? I honestly can't remember all of these settings and why I did them, but if you take a pause, you could always write them down if you wanted to use it for your own. And similarly for the advanced one as well. I've set mine up so that even if let's say I'm playing a variation and it's move 8 I get wrong, when it reprompts me, I make it restart from the very starting position of the game rather than just from, flashing up the move from move 7 onwards or move 8 onwards or whatever. So that's just the way I've set it up. I did actually research all this, but you can have a look at the help menus if you wanted to use it. But the key thing is that you then create all these repertoires for white and for black, and then if you're good and you do it regularly, you drill them, and you wouldn't have all of these light blue things saying you've got 15 moves and 21 moves, etc. outstanding. On any given day, you might only have, I don't know, 20 moves to try and do from memory. And as you get better and better and better, it helps drill your openings. There are actually, if you don't click on the trainer at this stage, but you just sort of click through, say your openings. This is the Scotch. You can see here. I think I must have added a comment in. You can use one of these options up here, the edit options, to enter comments in, so you can actually try and explain what the idea is behind the move that you're doing. And you can also see comments that other people have entered too. I haven't found them that useful, to be honest. But you can add your own ones in, so you can sort of just see what the idea is behind the moves that you're actually doing. So that's the chess opening trainer.